super hot.
More than welcome to. Come on in.
He actually asked to be with us, which is super cool.
It is. That makes more for the fans to love him more,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys bring a lot. You bring a lot out. I mean, regular talent, like guys, like local talent, right? To be showcased too, right? Like up and comers.
Well, yeah, like I said, we already talked about them. But,
yeah.
The guys like Dez, Zach, Trey. We got a couple others that I think are gonna. Good grief, Myron Reed.
Yes, I see. Dude, that kid's got something. I know. I see a lot of.
Oh yeah.
I watched a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, him and ACH just had a really good match in Chicago. He's had a bunch of really good matches, but that one I was present for, so
right.
It stuck out to me. But yeah, very very solid, very good. He's another guy that he takes good criticism. So all these young guys. I wish I would have been, and we're still am as talented. I really wish I would have been. At their age, it's incredible.
It is, because they keep up to shape, and just got to keep going, and they have a blast. They love it, and they're calling.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of guys moving up again, going back to Zachary Wentz, but I've said for a while, Zach is one of the most talented kids out there. And if he got the body going, kind of like Desmond, or body going like Trey is starting to get, he'd be right up there. Man, he's been busting his ass in the gym. So I'm telling you right now, look for Zach. He just got brought into Wrestle Circus. He started to go out places.
Yeah, I know. He's out there.
Again,
he's out there.
Another one you're going to see.
He circulates out there. He's out there. People don't realize these talents are really awesome. And we get to see them a lot. We're proud to be part of that and watch them.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is the CZW audience.
I know.
I think is you guys got to see the genesis. Or at least the close to the genesis. Rockstar was really where these guys started. But, CZW was the first. I'll say national company. That pay-per-view and things like that. Is the first company that Dez, Zach, myself, I went in the same way. But, it was really the company that allowed us to explode out onto a more national stage. And, if it weren't for CZW, I can honestly tell you that myself and the guys, I don't know where we would be, but it would definitely be a very different story.
Yeah. And we would not want to lose you guys because you're awesome, the best.
Well, thank you.
I know. You always do a good job. I love yelling at you sometimes, that. But that gets you going.
Well,
that gets you going.
Sorry?
I said that gets you going.
Yeah.
It's
so funny. Zach and I were doing a different podcast together.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And he was talking about you guys at CZW.
Yeah.
And he goes, it can be frustrating having JT in your corner. He goes, because, when you go out at CZW, the fans are automatically going, JT, like that. He goes, and I'm sitting here going, I'm the one wrestling. Why am I getting cheers?
Yeah. I'll have to. Maybe you could.
A funny thing.
Maybe you could pass along to Zach and ask him if he would like to be a guest on my podcast. I would love to have him.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would.
Yeah, because I like to get more people that you manage. It's great. But it's hard to get like Dave and them because they're so busy right now. They're busy right now.
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that I told everybody. Like, look, if you have questions about them, for them, whatever.
Yeah.
You might not be able to get them.
But just hit them a tweet or something. I know, just hit them
their official representation.
Yeah, just hit them a tweeter really quick. Tweet or Facebook and message. Yeah, but we have next week's supposed to be solid, but we haven't had the card announced. Next,
right.
We're still waiting for the final. But Onita's coming. Onita, the one and only from big, FMW.
Yeah. Well, and of course we've seen enough, to know that it's going to be some really big stuff. Obviously,
I know
that Matt's been good enough help to compete. That's kind of what the whole pay-per-view is.
Really based on.
And Joe, but obviously we've seen Joey Janela.
Yes,
going to be there. Masada
and your guys.
Strickland. There's going
to
be
a couple of your
guys.
I know, and your guys. I know, and there's I think they're bringing back the aerial assault match. That's going to be. I think that you guys are going to probably come into play with that. I hope.
I would definitely imagine that would be the case. I don't know that for a fact.
No, I know.
If I were a betting man.
No, and there's a couple guys from Japan coming, so we don't know who they are. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be an awesome night. That's going to be a fun show. We're going to have fun. We're all going to be like, wow. I already got my VIP stuff. I'm set. You know, get my sign. You know, I got the Odita Ricky double set figure I ordered. So
very nice.
You know, that'd be cool. And I saw somebody posted a picture of an Odita. You know, somebody painted an Odita picture. That's awesome.
I think I saw that. That was great.
Yeah, Anthony, good old Anthony. He needs to come out with some more figures for you guys. You know, I'm gonna tell him, I 4K guys. But
yeah, I know. Yeah, it was kind of cool. I just saw my first JT Davidson figure earlier today. Actually,
yeah.
Somebody made one of those. I thought that was pretty cool.
And it's awesome. I know. I gotta talk to. I know my other friend makes them. I'm gonna see if I can get one made of myself just for the hell of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so let's go back to what was like your first going to a show? You know, what was your first event you ever attended? You know, just like basically indie.
Let's see here. Yeah, no, the first wrestling show I ever attended was HWA, Heartland Wrestling Association in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I was at a place called Red Barn Flea Market.
Right.
And, and funnily enough, again, that first show, was a very, very early version of the OI4K, David J. Chris were on the show.
Yeah.
Because they started, here's the thing, is I'm only a year younger than Jake. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's not like they're a lot older than I am. No, actually, a lot of people think I'm older than them.
I'm 40. I'm 40.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, they started very young. Like, I'm pretty sure Jake was a junior in high school when he started wrestling. Mm-hmm. So when I started watching them, they were extremely young. They were just, all they were just, guys that got thrown around.
Yeah, backyard kind of wrestling, like the backyard.
They had backyard for a long time.
Yeah.
And HWA was their first, I'm going to say real,
match.
Yeah. Experience.
Yes. Yeah.
But I got to see that. So, very, very cool. But that was probably in 2003, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. And then, I've been to, plenty since. But HWA, again, that's where, Dean Ambrose came from. That's where a lot of, actually big names in the business today started. So HWA back in the day was actually a WWF, developmental territory.
Oh, no kidding. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And I can also tell you that, one of my, I don't want to say mentors, because I haven't really been around him personally a lot.
Yeah.
Role models was a guy by the name of Brock Buffman. He was a pro wrestling manager from HWA. Yeah. And he was good enough that he actually taught promo class for the WWE developmental.
Oh, cool.
So, again, great guy to find yourself after. But, it's just funny, years later, I really did love Brock. He was just this awesome manager. He just was so articulate. He was able to get under people's skin so well. And funnily enough, years later, I was having a manager versus manager match. So this would have been, 2 years ago, versus a guy named Bobby Olson locally. Mm-hmm. And Jake surprised me and got Brock to be the special guest referee for that match. Mm-hmm. So it was just a very cool thing for me, kind of coming full circle. Because actually, Brock was the first person I'd ever approached, who was involved with a pro wrestling company.
Right.
He was the first person I ever approached to say, hey, how do I get in? How do I get into pro wrestling? Yeah. And he was extremely magnanimous. He was, very polite and nice to me. And I just always remember that, he was the first person I ever approached. And then to have him be a part of one of my matches, which is very cool.
Yeah. Who did you like growing up? Like Foley to Funk and...
Oh, well, yeah, Foley is... Yes. Foley's in probably my top 3 or 4.
Yes. I think everybody always... He's a great guy. I've met him so many times, and he's a great guy. Great guy who,
mixing my top 3. I mean, again, as a kid, I didn't watch wrestling a lot because it wasn't something we watched in the household. But I was aware of Hogan just from the, he was on TV a lot.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever really watched wrestling was in the late 90s, and it was already NWO, and I remember Hogan, I had just flipped the channel and saw wrestling, and there was Hogan going one-on-one with Macho Man on Monday Nitro, and, I stopped because I recognized Hogan, and I knew Randy Savage from the Slim Jim commercials.
Yeah, I know, I think everybody did,
Yeah, but I stopped. I watched the match. I don't remember the match at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I do remember is that Hogan beat Savage for the title that night, and I got so excited about it.
Yeah.
And that kind of hooked me, and I, started tuning in after that. So again, Hogan, again, of course, Michaels, Flair, Triple H, guys like that are all guys that I really look up to.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Mick Foley. And funnily enough, as a kid, somebody who made me think, man, I could do this was Perry Saturn. And really just because Perry Saturn was about 5'10", he's a stocky, bald guy. I think I don't have to explain much further than that.
Yeah.
It made me think like, man, I could do that. Like that small guy, could do it. All I got to do is get in the gym, build up my muscles,
right.
Just get, be intimidating, whatever. I could be a pro wrestler. So I have to owe a little bit of that to Perry Saturn.
That's cool. I remember I went to remember when WWE had that restaurant in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a episode. I think it was the Stone Cold and Booker T in the grocery store bit with Taz and the Taz angle and Taz and whoever was fighting whoever. But I remember I was there and I got lucky to Rick, be on TV, like, wow, this is awesome. Perry Saturn, me and Ric Flair were going, we're doing, Taz and I are joking around doing Ric Flair chants. It was crazy, It's just fun.
That's awesome.
It was. That's pretty, fun stuff. I like telling, I went to WrestleMania 5 when I was a kid. I got lucky, My dad,
oh, wow.
My dad took me, and we were at nosebleed seats next to, 5 rows away from Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body doing the commentary at the time.
Wow.
I had my floor.
That would have been at Plaza, right?
Huh?
That would have been Atlantic City, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah, the original Atlantic City. Wow. I know, isn't that cool? But yeah, I still got my stub to this day, And I had it signed by Marty. Had it signed by Marty Jannetty, of course. They'd win, but you know what? Hey, it was. But yeah, it's a history. Pretty cool to be young and be able to go to something like that. Was my first
absolutely
WWE. But then, I used to go to tons of shows. Wrestling was big around this area. In the 90s, 80s. Actually, we had a school. I love telling the story how Iron Mike Sharp. You remember the Canadian Iron Mike Sharp from WWE, WWF?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ran a school in my town. It was called the Iron Mike Sharp Wrestling School, and for $5, you could watch wrestling and train. They were training, of course. Nova was a local. Nova and X-Pac were the biggest guys on the card, and I guess the Wall from WCW was the main star. Captain Lou or Freddie Blassie were the guests all the time.
Gotcha.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Yeah, it's funny. The Wall is fun. It's just I won't go into detail because it's not a really interesting story, but it's kind of a small world type thing. But, his mom actually worked with my mom at a local hospital.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, just a weird little coincidence.
My coworker,
my mom came home one day telling me because she knew I was a big wrestling fan. She was like, "Do you know who the Wall is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know who it is." She says, "Yeah, I work with his mom." Okay, cool. So. Small world. Yeah,
because one of my buddies at work, he used to work out at the gym. He used to work out, and he's just wow, pretty badass just to be work out with that guy, and just man, rest that God rest his soul, he's gone,
Absolutely.
It's wow, but no, he was a talented dude. He was pretty, but I think he had a part of ECW because he had a trailer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Small shows, but yeah. Then wrestling came around in the 80s, and I got to see Bruiser Brody inside a steel cage. I always like telling that. Versus Chief Jay Strongbow and Abdullah Butcher in the building. Cool, huh? Good memories,
Absolutely.
So what else you got? What do you got for me? You got anything for me, JT? Shoot me. Free.
I was about to ask you the same thing, man.
What? I think we're covered it. I know. Both, pretty good. And CZW, of course. Pay-per-view. I've been to everything, man. I'm just lucky to be. I'm glad to be a fan of wrestling. We are, and I'm sure you are blessed to watch a lot of the wrestling too. Being part of it too. And seeing.
Yeah, it's as far as that goes. I mean, I never expected to be manager, let alone, if I may say,